This is tough stuff. War is hard. It's vicious. It's brutal. It's unforgiving. And yes, we all have pain and anger. And when we see what has unfolded over the last 20 years and over the last 20 days, that creates pain and anger.
Tonight, reality is sinking in. America's 20-year war in Afghanistan is over. The evacuation of the Americans left behind has gone from being a military mission to a diplomatic one. In addition to Americans, Afghans who helped the U.S. military are also still there. One we're learning about tonight applied for a special visa, but his application was denied because of a technicality.
And that's when a group at St. Thomas University stepped in to help. The interpreter and his family escaped Kabul. CBS 4's Bobeth Yates spoke to the professor who led the operation and joins us live with the amazing story. Bobeth.
Well, the professor is telling me right now that, of course, that interpreter is happy to be out of danger's way. But he says he's not resting easy because his family members didn't make it out as promised by the U.S.
Yeah, heading to the airport, hope to make it and survive.
34-year-old Abdul Rashid Shahzad, a former Afghan interpreter, knew their chances for escaping the country was slim.
That's a Taliban vehicle right there with the white flag. That's Ali Akbar. That's my wife right there. This is me. This is Ali Abbas.
Once at the airport, it was chaotic, with thousands desperate for a way out. Shahzad didn't make it on that flight that trip, but he eventually successfully made it to the U.S. But St. Thomas University professor and immigration attorney Michael Vastine says many are not so lucky, and he's working to help other U.S. allies left behind.
This group of people, because of their association with the U.S., really have essentially become refugees.
Vastine says there are thousands who worked with the U.S. military and for their assistance should have been granted U.S. visas, but instead were left behind in Afghanistan. His client, whose identity is being hidden out of fear of retaliation, is among them.
His role was interpreting for U.S. military members out in the field. He had other family members that were working at NATO headquarters. From doing this for years, his whole community knew who he was, the sort of work he was doing, and of course, this was in advancing the U.S.'s interest in being successful.
And now that the Taliban and not the U.S. is in control, Vastine says his clients and their family members' lives are in danger. And with the U.S. visa they were promised taking longer than expected, they missed the evacuation flights.
Processing is supposed to be 9 months or less. And these cases are not being resolved in 9 months or less. They're taking years. And that's really just means that if we're going to offer a promise, we need to, I guess, have the resources to deliver on that promise.
Now, Vastine's family members Vastine actually did make it to Germany with the help of the German military, but his family members are still stuck in Kabul. They're saying that they will now have to fend for themselves, and they don't know if they will get any help from the U.S. government, despite the fact that they worked as interpreters for the U.S. military. Live right in front of in Miami Gardens, Bobeth Yates, CBS 4 News Tonight.